3-game set. Arizona State 27-24 on the season, 15-13 in Pac-12 play. That's 5th in the league. Stanford 20-26, 11-14, 8th place in the Pac-12. They have dropped 4 in a row and are looking to get back in the win column today. Great to have you with us here. Troy Clarity and Kevin Dana along for the ride with you here on Stanford Livestream. Last night, Stanford and Arizona State got things going. And Kevin, you and I figured, and you looked at what Stanford's been good at recently, what Arizona State has been good at recently, and you knew that they were both going to bring their bats coming into this one. One team did, but one team also brought its pitching as Arizona State with a 13-1 win, jumping on Stanford with 3 runs in the top half of the first inning, with all 3 runs being scored on 2 wild pitches.
Yeah.
They tack on 6 more in the top of the 9th to get a 13-1 win. That kind of, unfortunately, a step back for Stanford to maybe some things we saw from them from early in the season.
Yeah, like Matt Scott was okay yesterday. Obviously, the wild pitches didn't help his case, but 5 strikeouts, only 2 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. But we talked about it yesterday. You have the strikeout, could have been first and second with 2 down. Instead, 2 runs eventually come in on the throw back, trying to get a guy out at third base. That set the tone for the rest of the game. And, Ben Jacobs, talk about Arizona State bringing its pitching. He was masterful, 9 strikeouts in 6 innings, and it really was racking up the strikeouts more as the game drew deeper. He was great. And Arizona State, we saw how patient they were in innings 1 and 2 perhaps, and then a little more free swinging, and then even a little more patient at the end as they were able to tack on 6 runs. But look, these series aren't decided by run aggregate, right? So it doesn't matter if you lose by 12 or 1. Stanford can still win this series, and that they got to make sure is a thing of the distant past.
And they turn to perhaps their most consistent starting pitcher on the mound today in the freshman Christian Lim. More on him as we go along, but first let's get you the batting order for the Arizona State Sun Devils coming into this week, leading the Pac-12 with a .303 team batting average. Leading off for the Sun Devils is Ryan Campos. Kien Vu, terrific and deadly in the 2 spot. Nick McLean blew up Stanford last night with a big home run. He's batting 3rd. Jacob Tobias homered last night. He's in the cleanup spot. Brandon Compton, 3 for 3 yesterday, as he's the DH and batting 5th. Ethan Mendoza in the 6th spot. Harris Williams pinch hit last night, batting 7th today. Kevin Carstetter, we saw him as a defensive replacement yesterday. He's in the 8th spot. And Steven Ondina rounds out the Sun Devils batting order. Your lefties are Campos, Vu, McLean. Check that. Campos, Vu, Tobias, Compton, and Williams, with McLean hitting from both sides of the plate. Defensively for the Cardinals, they are about to take the field in the outfield from left to right. It is Court McDonald, Ethan Hott, and Brady Reynolds around the horn. Timo Becerra at 3rd, Trevor Haskins at short, Owen Cobb at 2nd, Jimmy Natai is at 1st, Malcolm Moore is behind the plate, and on the mound for the Cardinal is the freshman from Nashville, Tennessee, Christian Lim. 5'10", 193 pounds, but he can certainly bring it in a big-time way. As the Cardinal, clad in their black tops, take the field. Christian Lim, overall in the season, about to make his 13th appearance and start. A record of 4-5, an ERA of 4.01, 67 in the 3rd innings pitched, 56 hits, 30 runs, all earned, 25 walks versus 75 strikeouts. Opposing batters hitting .225 against Lim, who has issued 4 wild pitches and hit 8 batters. Lim is at his best when many pitchers are at their best. He's got a good fastball, but when he can change speeds and when he can bring that slider in and throw it over for strikes, that makes him absolutely lethal.
I mean, he's had a couple of masterful performances that earned him Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week honors. The work he did against Rice and Creighton, one of those a win, one of those a loss for the Cardinal. But those are 2 10-plus strikeout performances for him in 6 and 6 1/3 innings of work. So he can certainly blow past people, 75 strikeouts and 67 in the third, as you mentioned. So better than a 9K per 9 rate.
Coming off a performance in which he went just 5 innings, got the loss at Arizona 1 week ago today. Giving up just three runs. They were all earned, but that was all that the Wildcats needed in a 5-0 win for Arizona 7 days ago. That was then. This is now. Stanford looking to get back in the win column, break a 4-game skid, while Arizona would love to get a win here today and take the series outright, no matter what tomorrow's result might be. Final homestand for Stanford this season. Second to last home game here at Sunken Diamond for the year. Wraps up tomorrow. Mother's Day here at Sunken Diamond before the Cardinal finish out Pac-12 regular season play down at UCLA, and then the Pac-12 tournament in Arizona in a couple of weeks.
Well, Troy, it'd be nice to see the bats wake up a little bit for the Cardinals. They've been hitting for average well over the last 20-plus games, but just 2 extra base hits over the last 3 games, and with all due respect to Saborn Campbell, their double yesterday came when it was 13-1 in the bottom of the ninth.
And Stanford's lone run in the game came in the 8th inning off an RBI single by Malcolm Moore. But good conditions to get the bats going here today. Of course, that applies for both teams, and Arizona State certainly a team that has been swinging the bat in incredible fashion throughout much of the season, and especially of late. They have scored double digits in 5 of their last 7 games, including last night's result. It starts with Ryan Campos, junior from Mesa, Arizona. Campos, the team leader across several different categories for Arizona State as Lim rocks and deals. First pitch, away we go. Cardinal and the Sun Devils enjoy the game as Campos is just in front of that one. First pitch at 2:07, so we're a couple minutes late. Not the 5-minute delay that we saw last night, but that's because there was a rabbit on the field.
No rabbits today. Yet.
Not yet, anyway. The 0-1 pitch from Lim. There's that slider from the lefty that tails low and outside for ball 1. Campos slashing .328, .435, .574. Leads Arizona State in at-bats, runs, hits, doubles, RBI, total bases, and walks.
That's all?
That's all. At least all that I could circle on my stat sheet. That pitch didn't miss by much, and the count goes to 2-1. Jason Venzen behind the plate, calling balls and strikes. Travis Eggert at first. Gary DeFabio at second, and Jeff Henricks is at third as Lim goes to a 3-1 count on Campos. A bit of a hit parade for the Sun Devils last night as they wrapped out 13 of them, but Campos had only 1 at the top of the lineup, the 3-1. Fastball misses outside. Leadoff walk issue to Campos. His 36th base on balls of the year for Campos as he takes first.
You want to talk about hit parades. We talked about their 21-18 win over Washington to close the series last weekend. 23 hits for Arizona State in that game, 22 for Washington. 45 combined hits in a game.
That was on getaway day. I hope that Washington scheduled their plane flight home accordingly. Here's Kien Vu. What a player he has been. The sophomore from San Diego looks at the first pitch. Breaking ball catches the outside corner for strike 1.
I remember looking at the time of game in that game, and it wasn't that much above 3 hours, if I remember correctly.
All right.
So it went a little faster than I expected it.
The 0-1 from Lim maybe misses just a little bit high. Count goes to 1-1. Vu slashing .419, .486, .790. Leading Arizona State in all categories and would be leading the Pac-12 in all categories if not for Travis Bazana's bananas year up at Oregon State for the Beavers. Throw back to first.
And 11-0 win for the Beavers yesterday. You know you're having a good season, Troy, when you go 2 for 5 and your batting average goes down.
Yeah. That's the kind of season it's been for Bazana, who I'm sure they're already engraving his name in the Pac-12 Player of the Year trophy as we speak, if they haven't done it already. The 1-1. There's that gorgeous slider, but I think it maybe got a bit low in the zone, 2-1.
It has some pretty good movement on it today, and so far that outside corner hasn't quite been given it by Jason Benson.
2 balls, 1 strike. Fastball misses outside, 3-1. So for back-to-back batters, Lim deals a first pitch strike and then issues 3 consecutive balls. Vu with a 3-run home run last night. That came in the top of the 9th inning and just really added on to the damage. The 3-1. Tapped foul. Vu in Pac-12 play, 9 home runs, slugging .892 against conference competition, and that's in 22 Pac-12 games played. It's not a small sample size by any stretch of the imagination. The 3-2 pitch from Christian Lim will have to wait as he throws back over to first, keeping Campos in close. Campos 4 of 8 in stolen bases this year. Three balls and 2 strikes. Runner going, and that one's clapped foul down the first base line.
We were going through some of Bazzano's numbers yesterday, but this from Campos. 59 runs scored, and they've played 51 games. It's pretty impressive.
That means you're scoring.
Yeah.
Guys behind you doing a good job of knocking you in, which is your leadoff man. You have to get on base number 1.
Yeah.
He will help around you. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks to start the game for Lim. Lim came into this game with a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, 75-25.
So you're telling me that he's going to get 6 strikeouts in a row now?
I would not be mad at that. It's going to be tough, though, especially with this guy coming to the plate, Nick McClain, redshirt sophomore from Tustin, California, on a 13-game hit streak. And he has been on a tear of late, went 3 of 5 with a home run and 3 RBI last night. Earlier in this 13-game hit streak, McClain homered in 5 straight games. Overall, McClain with 10 home runs, 46 driven in, hitting .314, slugging .603. McClain bats from both sides, so he stands from the right side of the box and watches ball 1.
So doing the math that you let us know about yesterday, he's 15 of his last 30 now. Right, or was that another?
That was another one.
That was another one.
Yeah, that's Brandon Compton.
Compton, okay.
Who came into this series, 12 of his last 25, and then went 3 for 3 last night.
Okay, so that would be 15 of 28.
Yeah. We'll see Compton a bit later on. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Jump the gun.
Pulls this one well foul. Count goes to 1-2. 335 down the lines here at Sunken Diamond. 375 to the alleys. 400 to straightaway center. Outfield fences are 8 feet high. Slight breeze. Looks like it's blowing out to left.
Yeah.
Out to left or right to left. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McClain in front of that one. Sun Devils with their 3 home runs hit last night, surpassing their season total from last year. They've hit 84 home runs this year, hit 83 last year. And they have 5 batters with 10 home runs or more.
And they have at least 7 games to improve upon that total.
The 1-2 pitch from Lim. Spin back. Campos at second, Vu at first. Both of them walked. The gorgeous confines, the friendly confines of Sunken Diamond. Good crowd here on hand, soaking up the sun. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit high to left field. Turning, McDonald won't even bother. It's into the trees, and it's gone. Nick McClain continues to erupt on Pac-12 play. His 2nd home run this weekend, his 11th of the year, And McLean making the case to be named Pac-12 Player of the Week back-to-back weeks.
So make it a 14-game hitting streak, and he now has a home run in 7 of his last 8 games. And that one, no doubt about her. I mean, Court looked up and left and knew he didn't have a chance. Launch angle 35 degrees, exit velocity 98 miles an hour, 387 feet the distance on that one. And, yeah, their 85th home run as a team now.
And you kind of hate to lose McLean, especially like that on a 1-2 count where you're ahead. First time you've been ahead that deep into the count. I mean, small sample size, you're only 3 batters in, but still after throwing a first pitch strike to your first 2 and then ending up walking them both on 4 consecutive pitches. But after going ahead that deep into the count, not able to bring it home, instead it's McLean who brings everybody home. And just like last night, Arizona State up very quickly, putting 3 runs on the board before the Cardinals even grabbed a bat. And the Sun Devils bringing up Jacob Tobias, who leads Arizona State with 14 home runs, hitting .307 on the year, slugging .583. Tobias with a solo home run in the middle innings last night. This one's off the fist going back. Becerra coming in. McDonald. Becerra loses his footing, and the ball falls off to his shoulder. Becerra was backpedaling, trying to find it, trying to adjust all in one fell swoop, and then just lost his footing, and the ball falls harmlessly in shallow left field for a base hit.
It's just been one of those kind of weekends to this point for Stanford, but plenty of time to reverse your fortunes.
Well, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, as the show goes along. It's not necessarily that Arizona State's pitching staff has consistently been blanking people and putting up zeros all season long. But let's get to the bottom of the first. First.
Yeah.
Brandon Compton went 3 for 3 last night. He's a redshirt freshman from Buckeye, Arizona, the DH for Arizona State. Compton on a 7-game hit streak. He is 15 of his last 28 in at-bats. And for the first time today, Lim has a batter down 0-2. Compton hitting .352, 11 home runs, 42 RBI. He's slugging .660 with an on-base percentage of .421. No balls, 2 strikes. Compton in front of that one, rolls that one to the Stanford dugout. Cardinal breaking out the black tops, Cardinal numerals. Sun Devils with the maroon tops and the gray pants. No balls and 2 strikes. In play, Cobb charging. Flip to second for 1, throw to first. Not quite in time. So Compton is safe. But Stanford gets an out on the board.
Yeah, Compton hustling the whole way down the first baseline. That also, this wasn't hit quite hard enough to really turn to. Close, but not quite. You get your first out. That's the important thing for Christian. Get the first out, try to build from there.
That's step 1. Ethan Mendoza, a freshman from Bedford, Texas, on an 11-game hit streak. Do you sense a theme here?
These guys are on hitting streaks, and they're all pretty good.
Back, up the middle, past a diving Cobb. A 12-game hit streak now for Mendoza, who was batting .320 before that plate appearance. That number will go up. Brings up Harris Williams. Grad transfer, originally from Denver, Colorado. Graduated from just up the road, the University of San Francisco. Williams slashing .288, .395, .468 with 5 home runs and 24 RBI. Williams came in as a pinch hitter last night, late in the game, and delivered a 2-run single. There's that slider from Lim. Goes over for a called strike 1. Lim has delivered first pitch strike to 5 of the first 7 batters that he has faced, but hasn't been able to finish. The 0-1. Williams got a piece of it after showing bunt, nothing in 2.
I imagine the bunt sign will be off now. Yeah, he's gotten ahead, and he hasn't been able to stay ahead.
Lim gathering himself. There's that curve again, disrupting Williams' timing. Well, yesterday, it took Matt Scott 39 pitches to get through the first inning. Lim right now is on 27. Off the fists, rolled to first. Nati surveys and throws it, shovels it to Lim, and hits him in the shoulder, and everybody's safe. Well, you can kind of tell the thought process that Nati was going through. Do I go to second? Do I keep it myself? And by the time he went through the thought process, perhaps a bit too late.
Yeah, and second was always going to be tough on the force. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, obviously, but take the out. The sure one at first.
Bases loaded, 1 out for Kevin Karstetter, who did not play for the Sun Devils in their series last week at Washington. If he did, I'm sure we'd be talking about hit streaks and Buffalo numbers for him, too. Karstetter overall on the season batting .265, no home runs and 7 driven in. Bases loaded and 1 out. Hit high, but shallow. Coming in, it's hot, makes the catch, tagging up, the throw cut off, and now caught in the rundown between second and third. Mendoza is erased there. The run does count, and Arizona State is up 4-0 with Stanford coming to the plate. Let's get you the Stanford batting order right here and now. Owen Cobb leading off for the Cardinal, followed by Ethan Hott in the 2 spot. Court McDonald batting 3rd. Malcolm Moore hitting cleanup. Jimmy Natai batting 5th. The designated hitter Brandon Larson batting 6th. Brady Reynolds in the 7th spot. Trevor Haskins bats 8th. Timo Becerra rounding out Stanford's batting order. Cardinal came into the weekend hitting .289 on the season. 4th place in the Pac-12. Your lefties for today, McDonald, Moore, Larson, and Reynolds. Defensively for the Sun Devils in the outfield from left to right, it's Harris Williams, Kien Vu, and Nick McLean. Kevin Karstetter at 3rd, Steven Ondina at short, Ethan Mendoza at 2nd, Jacob Tobias at 1st, Ryan Campos behind the plate, and a lefty on the mound for the Sun Devils today as well. His name is Connor Markle, a senior from Scottsdale, transferred from Grand Canyon. Markle's numbers on the year, about to make his 12th appearance and start. A 5-3 record and a 4.58 ERA. 55 innings pitched, 54 hits, 33 runs, 28 of them earned, 53 strikeouts versus 30 walks. Opposing batters hitting .262 against Markle, who won Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week honors on March 18th. So he has a little hardware that he's accumulated this season.
When he was at Grand Canyon a couple of years ago, he was 2nd in the WAC in strikeout to walk ratio. It was at 4.41 in the 2022 season. We were just talking about Grand Canyon yesterday, making the move to the WCC for 2025, along with Seattle U. So, like a guy last time out, Markle ran into some big trouble in their 14-9 loss to Washington. Just did not get out of the 3rd inning, gave up 10 runs, 8 of them earned on 7 hits, just 79 pitches. So you know he's chomping at the bit to get back out on the mound and try to get his numbers right.
Yeah, tough week for pitchers all the way around in that series. Whew. For both sides for the most part, but certainly for Washington last week.
There were a combined 80 runs in those 3 games.
Just a bonkers series. Arizona State came into this week Team ERA of 6.80. Team whip of 1.76, both 11th out of 11 in the Pac-12. Here's Owen Cobb, who is on a 13-game hit streak. The grad student from Seattle, slashing .319, .368, .527. Leads Stanford with 188 at-bats, 60 hits, 2 triples, and 99 total bases. Cobb scored the lone run of the game for Stanford last night, an RBI single by Malcolm Moore. Pitch called on the outside corner, strike one from Markle. The 0-1. Waves at this one, takes something off of it. Cobb down 0-2. Markle 6'1", 200. Transferred from Grand Canyon after last season. The 0-2. Bounces to Campos behind the dish, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Cobb waves at it, does not connect.
That was a nasty pitch there from Markle.
Stanford batter struck out 13 times last night, 9 of those belonging to A-State starter Ben Jacobs. Brings up Ethan Hott. He's from the Valley of the Sun, Paradise Valley, as a matter of fact. Hott, a sophomore. First pitch, ball 1. Hott on the season, hitting .317, no home runs, 11 driven in. On base .394, slugging .389. Markle misses again. Hott ahead in the count, 2-0. Hott in front of that one, fouls it off, 2-1. Hott had a 7-game hit streak snapped last night. Was 2-time first-team All-State during his days at Chaparral High School. And now Hott hoping to start a new hit streak as he singles that one underneath Tobias's glove and into right field.
And went with the pitch, go opposite field. Nice piece of hitting there. Try to get a one-out rally going here in the bottom of the first.
Now here's Court McDonald. Team high .331 batting average, 3 home runs, 27 RBI. Slugging .424, on base .403. The sophomore from Arlington, Texas, right smack in the middle of the Metroplex. A place that both Stanford and Arizona State are going to get to know a bit more of in the years ahead. Throwback over to first. Arizona State, of course, heading to the Big 12, home of TCU in Fort Worth. Stanford heading to the ACC, where they'll be joined by fellow new addition SMU, which is on the Dallas side of the Metroplex, University Park, a few miles north of Dallas. Nice area, I'm told. I've never been to University Park.
Yeah, same here. I've been to TCU. That's a nice campus.
The 2-0 from Markle. High chop, landing foul. 2-1 to McDonald. Apparently there's some big stadium in Arlington, Texas of some sort. Called, I don't know, Jerry World?
Jerry
Is
World?
it something like that? I don't know.
Is that where the Texas Rangers play?
Maybe. The world champion Texas Rangers?
Yeah.
Boy, who would have thought the world champion team would be playing at Globe Life Field?
Yeah. Been almost 30 years for the Cowboys.
Been a while.
But they're still America's team.
That's right. 2-1. Throw back over to first. As any Cowboy fan, I'm sure, will happily tell you. Of course, folks around these parts are of a different persuasion.
Yeah.
2 balls, 1 strike. Fake towards first. McDonald off the fists. Of course, there are a lot of Cowboy fans in Phoenix, in the Valley of the Sun area. Whenever the Cowboys come out there, and obviously this maybe dates a little bit back to the NFC East days when the Cardinals had moved from St. Louis, but were still in the NFC East. Cowboy fans filled up that place. 2-2. Curve just tails a bit outside. Markle says, man, I just missed that one.
Yeah, you had the Cardinals in the NFC East, and you had the Atlanta Falcons and New Orleans Saints in the NFC West. And the Carolina Panthers as well, I believe.
With the Niners and the Rams.
Yeah.
3-2. But see, the good news is that, geography is always a consideration when it comes to, conferences and divisions. It's always.
Especially with the ACC, the All-Coast Conference.
Clearly. LA's Big Ten country now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. This one snagged. The throw to first. Just safe. Boy, a heck of an effort by Ethan Mendoza to get there and glove it and to make a throw that was anywhere near close. But McDonald able to leg it out.
Yeah, that was as impressive of a defensive play as you'll see for something that turned out to be an infield single. Like throwing off his back. I mean, he was safe by a step or two, but man, whoa, what a play by Mendoza.
Here's Malcolm Moore. Moore 2 for 4 with the run driven in last night, also struck out a couple of times. Moore, the sophomore from Sacramento, hitting .253. As Markle tries a curve, it misses maybe a little bit high for ball 1. Despite Moore's .253 batting average, he leads Stanford with a .415 on base percentage and leads Stanford with a .538 slugging percentage. Also 13 home runs, a team high. Off the fists, dropping in right field in front of McLean. And McLean boots it a little bit, but not far enough for anyone to think about taking an extra base. So base is loaded with 1 out. And Jimmy Natai about to come to the plate.
And Malcolm's average is just continuing to rise. He was in the low 200s earlier this year. Now he's north of 250. And McLean, the runners had to hold up there because you weren't quite sure if McLean was going to be able to get that on the fly. And even though he bobbled it, just didn't really have a chance to get home.
Jimmy Natai, the batter, the sophomore from Sydney, Australia. And Natai can certainly change this game with 1 swing of the bat. Was maybe thinking about that as he swings and misses on the cutter. 0-1. Natai hitting .309, team high 34 RBI with 6 home runs. Slugging .528. Bases loaded. No balls and 1 strike and 1 out. In the air, popped up. Karstetter ranging over. Couple steps and foul ground, 2 away.
Just what the doctor ordered for Connor Markle and this Arizona State defense. Those one of 2 things you couldn't do if you were Natai, strike out or pop up, or I guess hit a sharp grounder as well. But the inning's not over yet, and it's going to be on Brandon Larson.
Larson, the sophomore transfer, originally from Rockland, California, came to the Cardinal via UC San Diego. Swings and misses on the slider there. Just tailed far away from Larson for strike 1.
Yeah, started that on the outside corner and then ended up on the other in the righty's batter's box.
Larson batting .284, 4 home runs, 17 RBI. Swings and misses again. Same pitch, same result.
Yeah, it's got some nice bite to it.
Hot at third, McDonald at second, Moore at first. All of them singled. The 0-2. And this one misses well outside. Campos doing a good job of keeping that one within range.
Show some trust in your catcher there. Try to throw something low and away with a runner on third.
The 1-2 pitch from Markle. Thought about it. And they're going to give Stanford a run. Second base umpire Gary DeFabio made some sort of signal and noted something about equipment.
Yeah.
And awarded Stanford the run. So the Cardinal will take it as 4-1 with runners now at second and third. So perhaps it was something called on Campos, not sure. 2-2. That fastball gets Larson looking. So Stanford does get one across, but they are still down after one inning of play. Sun Devils 4, Cardinal 1. 4-1, Arizona State leading Stanford heading to the top of the second inning. Got a little clarification on that run-scoring play for Stanford in the bottom half of the first. Ryan Campos, the Arizona State catcher, was ruled to have stopped the ball and kept it and maybe held on to a little bit with his chest protector. So that's why Gary DeFabio was motioning and mentioning Campos' equipment. So officially it's called a balk that allowed Ethan Hott to score the run. So that's why it's 4-1. Steven Ondina, the only Sun Devil not to pick up a bat in the top half of the first, does so here. Ondina from Puerto Rico, transfer from Florida International. He is a senior, hitting .288, 4 home runs, 21 RBI on the year. 1-1 to Ondina.
It wasn't quite the 39 pitch first inning that Matt Scott had, but still, Lim had the labor there in the first 28 pitches.
Swing and a miss as Ondina completely crossed up there, 1-2. Ondina walked 3 times last night. Tails outside, 2-2. Big hole between second and short. Tails way outside, count full once again. Second full count on Lim so far this afternoon. His 9th batter faced. Got him. Swing and a miss, strike 3, crossed him up. First strikeout of the afternoon for Lim.
You just got to try to leave that first inning in the past if you're Christian Lim, and well, that's a good start to doing that.
Back to the top of the order we go for the Sun Devils. Ryan Campos walked and scored. Lim taking a little bit of time. And now he deals the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Entering today in Pac-12 play, Lim with 8 starts against conference foes, 3-3 with a 4.22. Campos, first team All Pac-12 last year. He had a day against USC on April 27th, 5 for 5 with 5 runs scored. That was part of an absolute drubbing of the Trojans by the Sun Devils, 17-2.
That's putting it on a team.
A 1-2 pitch. Got him. Back-to-back Ks for Christian Lim, 2 away. Here's Kien Vu, who walked and scored in the first. Didn't become a regular starter until March for Arizona State, the end of March, but he's blown it up. In fact, Arizona State head coach Willie Bloomquist said, boy, shame on me for not playing him earlier. But Vu making the most of his opportunity. That's high for ball one.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Troy, and say that he's going to make his first start of his junior season before March next year.
You would think, barring anything maybe health-related or something like that. But I would think that Vu, for the most part, if he continues to play at the pace that he has for the last 6 weeks, has a spot in the lineup as long as he wants it here at Arizona State. And as long as his eligibility is still has not been exhausted.
I mean, this guy, 489 OBP, like, you're basically every other time you step to the plate, you get on base. It's crazy.
Just fouled off. And he admits that his pregame approach, he takes batting practice seriously. He's all business then. But after that, he reminds himself that he's out there trying to have fun and win a baseball game. It's a nice little balance there.
Yeah.
I like it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Got him.
Ooh.
Back-to-back-to-back Ks. Christian Lim. Filthy pitch to finish off Vu. 3 up, 3 down. Arizona State ahead by 3. Bottom second, straight ahead. The 7-8-9 batters due up for the Cardinal as we begin the bottom of the second inning. Arizona State with a 4-1 lead. Thanks for joining us here on Stanford Live Stream. Whether you're here in Northern California, our friends rooting for the Sun Devils, if you're watching down in the Valley of the Sun, no matter where you are, thanks for spending part of your day here with us. Connor Markle deals to Brady Reynolds. First pitch low and outside for ball one. Reynolds on the year, hitting .230 with 2 home runs and 13 RBI. He's a freshman from Bakersfield. Markle tries a fastball, pumps it right down the middle, 1-1.
Yeah, same high school as Arizona State first baseman Jacob Tobias, though Tobias a couple years older, Liberty High.
Reynolds thinks about it. Appeal to third base umpire Jeff Henricks. Jeff says, yep. Brady went around. Count goes to 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Campo spinning around to get out of the way of that one. Count goes to 2-2. Reynolds with a 3-run home run against Penn State on February 25th. And he works the count full here. Markle working quickly. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Markle.
I'm reminded of another lefty who worked quickly on the mound, Mark Burley. I was living in Chicago when he was on the White Sox. Loved watching him pitch.
Especially if he had something to do afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Trevor Haskins. The pride and joy of San Jose, California. Playable. Markle off the heel of his glove, but is able to pirouette and make the throw to first in time for the out.
That's a good recovery by Markle there. Sometimes if you're pirouetting, you're not exactly sure where the ball is, tracked it, and made a nice throw.
Timo Becerra, the junior from Clovis, California. Slashing .299, 358, 338. No home runs, 14 driven in. Becerra from Buchanan High School. Same high school as Brock Jones. What fun he was to watch.
He was a good one.
For the Cardinal. Yes, indeed. The 0-1 from Markle. Take something off of it, 0-2. Smack to center. Dropping down. And in front of Williams. And Becerra is safe.
Great effort there in left field by Harris Williams. Didn't quite come up with it. See if the Cardinal can get a 2-out rally going. If you're curious what Brock Jones is up to, he's with the Bowling Green Hot Rods. That's an affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays.
He was drafted by the Rays, coming out of Stanford a couple years ago. Back to the top of the order, it's Owen Cobb. Cobb struck out swinging in the first. And smacks this one right to Carstetter. Throw to second is all that he needs. Becerra with the single, but that's all for Stanford. 4-1 after 2 on the Stanford live stream. Arizona State leading Stanford. We head to the third, and taking the mic for the third and the fourth, it's Kevin Dana.
Thank you, Troy. Arizona State, 4 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. Stanford, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. 3-4-5 up for the Sun Devils, starting with Nick McLean, who homered for the second straight game in the first. It was a 3-run blast to make it 3-0 after Campos and Vu walked, as he looks at that first pitch from Lim high. Christian Lim needed just 15 pitches to get out of the second inning. He struck out the side. Fastball at 89 miles an hour, missing high and away. 2-0 to Nick McLean. It's from Tustin, California. It's in the OC, Orange County. 2-0. This one drilled deep to left. No doubter bouter again. Nick McLean, 2 for 2 with 2 home runs and 4 RBI. And it's another 4-run lead for the Sun Devils. They're up 5-1.
417 feet. 107 miles an hour off the bat. And Nick McLean is just scorching Stanford pitchers this weekend.
His first home run had an exit velocity of 98 miles an hour and went 387 feet. So he pumped this one. Whew. So that is the 86th home run of the season for Arizona State, 5th of this weekend, as Jacob Tobias, the first baseman, steps in. He singled last time up, and he looks at ball 1.
Third home run of the weekend for McLean. Included in his recent streak of play a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 10th against the Washington Huskies 8 days ago.
That was their 11-7 win in 10. There's the 2-0. That misses just outside. So McLean, who has homered in 7 of his last 8, he's at 12 home runs on the season. So it wasn't like he was knocking him out of the park a whole lot to start the season. But, man, that guy is on a heater. There's strike 1. That one got up to 91. Lim had been living around 88, 89 most of the first 2 innings on that fastball. 3-1 to Tobias here. And that one fouled off. Tobias taking a cut. And high school buddy of Brady Reynolds, same high school they went to, Liberty High in Bakersfield. Home of some of the best cookies in Southern California. 2 fat sandwiches if you're ever in Bakersfield. There's the 3-2. Breaky ball, strike 3. Got him with the slider on the outside corner.
Well, first time that Lim has been able to use that slider as an out pitch so far today. And when that's the case, that means good things. Let's see if he's able to be a bit more consistent and get in situations where, A, he can use it as an out pitch and then be able to finish batters off.
Brandon Compton steps in. Grounded into a fielder's choice. Eventually scored. Part of that 4-run first for Arizona State. Scored in 6 of the 9 innings yesterday in their 13-1 win on Friday night. Missing a little outside. 1-1 here to Compton. The base is clear, 1 away. It was a McLean home run to start off this 3rd inning. That missing just a little inside. 2-1. Got some Little League teams at the ballpark today. A team from Millbrae, a team from Menlo Atherton. Slider missing. My partner, Troy Clarity, came up with a new nickname for Menlo Park.
Yeah, maybe they should start calling it the low.
The low.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah, I'm in the low.
I'm in the low. Welcome to the low. That is low and away for ball 4. So apostrophe LO?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You know, hang out Santa Cruz Avenue.
There you go. Go to Stacks.
All right, you could do that. They got that Penzi Spice Shop, which is just my weakness.
Okay.
Downtown Menlo Park.
Nice. Ethan Mendoza now. He's singled in the first. Getting his average up to 324 on the season. As he hits this sharply to short, Haskins gets the force. They go 6-4-3. They turn 2 to end the third. Not before the McLean home run, though. Arizona State gets the lead back up to 4 as they lead the Cardinal 5-1 here on the Stanford live stream. Bottom third. 2-3-4 due up for the Cardinal. They trail Arizona State 5-1. Kevin Ann alongside Troy Clarity. Ethan Hott steps in, singled and scored in the first inning. Came in on the balk. As he looks at ball 1. Markle hasn't exactly, he's had some really nice stuff, but he hasn't exactly completely fooled the Cardinals. He's given up 4 hits in 2 innings. A 1 unearned run, swung on and missed. For strike 1 to Hott.
Been kind of rare that we've seen that challenge fastball from Markle, but we just saw it right there.
Yeah, clocked at 89. Hott, a self-taught pianist. The 6A Region Player of the Year is a senior at Chaparral High in Paradise Valley. Here's the 2-1 as he lines this one to second, taken on a hop by Mendoza. The throw in time to Tobias at first and 1 away here in the third. So that'll bring up Court McDonald, who bumped his team high average at 335. Up a couple of points after his first inning single. Chopper down the first baseline, foul. Ball thrown back to the Stanford dugout. Wind blowing out to right center at the moment. They cut there from Court. That gets past him for strike 2. That one, lazy line drive foul. McDonald, the hit today, is reached base safely in all but 5 games this year, which he's played. He takes ball 1. And he has played in 45 of them now. This is game 47. Hit sharply to first. Tobias takes it on a hop, and he'll win the race to the bag. Nicely gloved there by Jacob Tobias.
A couple well-handled plays by the Arizona State infield. Both instances, the fielders kind of sizing things up a little bit. And then, moving quickly, but not, what's the old John Wooden adage, be quick but don't hurry.
Yeah.
Both Mendoza at second and Tobias at first, kind of proving both of those adages true with those respective plays.
So nobody on, 2 out for Malcolm Moore. It's part of the hit parade in the first. 3 straight singles after Cobb was retired. He got the run in on a balk. Breaking ball over for strike 1. For Connor Markle. Blown away. That was his 45th pitch. Right around 15 pitches per inning.
Markle on his 13th batter faced. He's thrown first pitch strikes to 8 of them now, by my count.
62% of the batters he's faced. If we are to round up 61.5%, which we do, or at least I do. Two and one to Moore. Fastball missing outside. 89. 3-1.
Marco doesn't seem to be too interested in challenging Moore here.
No.
At least not so far anyway.
Challenges him there, and Tobias going to toss it to the covering Markle, and that will do it for the third. 3 up, 3 down for Stanford in the bottom of the third. We head to the fourth. Arizona State leading by 4 at Sunken Diamond. T4 at Sunken. Arizona State 5, Stanford 1. Kevin Dana, Troy Clarity with you here on this really nice Saturday afternoon. In a bit of a breeze in the press box, so the flags center field have died down. Harris Williams to start things off, Kevin Karstetter and Steven Ondina to follow. Lim out for a 4th inning of work. He's given up 5 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. Fastball high and inside. For ball 1, he struck out 4, he's walked 3. This will be pitch number 60 upcoming for Christian. Fastball over for strike 1.
Struck out the side in the second, but labored through the first and has given up a couple of home runs, both to Nick McLean, who's been a one-man wrecking crew for Arizona State this weekend.
Driven in 4 of the 5 runs today. Did not go. Count 2-1. So McLean with only 7 RBI through the first 12 innings of play this weekend. There's a 2-1 to Harris Williams. The USF Don looks at a fastball for strike 2.
Well, second team All West Coast Conference last year. Honorable mention the year before that, Williams. Hit 346, 9 home runs last year for the Dons.
There's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. He went. Strike 3. Nice slider there from Christian Lim. The second time we've seen him use that as the out pitch now.
Yep. That's when he tends to be at his best.
5th strikeout for Lim as we see Kevin Karstetter, State College, Pennsylvania, and State College of Florida transfer. Is the FCSAA Male Athlete of the Year Suncoast Conference Pody. He had .415 as a junior. Then was the NJCAA Region Player of the Year.
So when Karstetter was playing for the State College of Florida, and when people asked him where he was from, and he said State College,
yeah,
did folks get confused?
Yeah, it's a
oh,
great
you're from
question.
here, right? Oh, no,
Yeah.
State College, Pennsylvania.
Penn State territory. That one up the middle, just past the diving Haskins, and it will roll into center. He's turning for 2, and he's going to be safe. Wow. And Karstetter, you got to be thinking, too, the entire way. This situation like that. Incredible hustle from Karstetter. He gets a double out of that.
There's no other reason that you would even think about taking second unless you were 100% sure that you're going to try for 2 out of the box. A ball up the middle that doesn't even get very deep in the center field? Holy smokes, Karstetter. I mean, that's the guts of a burglar there.
Yeah. I was talking about it yesterday, the old adage, you come to the park, you see something you hadn't seen before. I don't think I've seen that before.
You probably go back to the dugout, and Willie Bloomquist will probably say, don't you ever do that again.
Ondina in there taking ball 1. Ondina struck out swinging in the second to lead off the second.
Yeah, I'd already marked down 1B on my scorebook card.
Yeah.
And then I heard your voice go up a couple octaves, and I was like, wait, what, huh?
Yeah, I was looking at it like, he's taking a big turn around first, and he kept on going. Gutsy indeed from Carstetter, who's over on second. He has 4 stolen bases. On Dina, looking at the 1-1 pitch outside. 2-1.
Moore tried to frame that one.
Yeah, the corners, well, I imagine I'll trust Benson's strike zone. They've been trying to paint the corners, and the outside pitch has not been given. It's a tight strike zone. Slider is popped up into left. Court McDonald's underneath it, takes a couple of steps in and makes the catch. So that'll be out number 2 here in the 4th. That'll bring up Ryan Campos. He's had an uncharacteristic weekend to this point at 1 for 7. 1 for 6 yesterday. Did walk his first plate appearance. It's dragged his average down to 327. For the Mesa, Arizona native. Slider over for strike 1.
By my count, just the 7th first pitch strike dealt by Lim, and he's on his 19th batter faced.
And like that ratio to be better for sure as he misses in. Mesa, about a half hour outside of Phoenix. Played in a poker tournament once in Mesa, Arizona.
Oh.
Came close to making the money. There's the 1-1. Breaking ball lifted to left. McDonald over to his left to make the catch, and that'll retire the side. So second time Arizona State today has not scored in their half of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Stanford looking to trim this 5-1 deficit a tad here on the Stanford live stream. All right, bottom of the 4th, it's time for a junior announcer inning in the press box. I'll say a couple of games I did in the Oregon series, the junior announcer brought some serious luck. So we'll see if that good luck and good vibes can carry over here for Jimmy Nadai and friends. Jimmy will step in first. He fouled out in the first. Popped it up with the bases loaded and 1 out. As he looks at ball 1. This will be the 50th pitch from Connor Markle. He's given up 4 hits, 1 run, as this one is fouled back over everyone's head and out of play. He struck out 3 through the first 3 innings.
And no walks.
And no walks. That's a big one. That has helped keep his pitch count down a little bit, 16 pitches per inning. Here's the 1-1, and there's ball 2.
It's a good breaking ball that didn't miss by much there from Markle. Through 6 shutout innings, allowed just 1 hit and got the win at Arizona March 16th.
Missing in, and of course before heading to Stanford, Arizona State lost to Arizona in a midweek game, 5-3. Speaking of Arizona, it was also the last team Stanford faced. This one hit sharply on the ground to short. Ondina has it, ranging it to his left to make the throw. 1 away.
Yeah, that Tuesday loss for the Sun Devils against the Wildcats did not count in the Pac-12 standings, but certainly counts in bragging rights, certainly counts in territorial cup standings. So even though it didn't mean anything in the Pac-12 standings, anytime Arizona and Arizona State square up against each other in anything, it means something.
Larson takes strike 1. I remember my freshman year when I was working at KZSU, and I was doing a baseball game, and the senior who was broadcasting with me, because I needed to have training wheels at the time, still do, but it really had to put a leash on me. And he was mentioning that Stanford and Cal were going to play in a non-conference game. In my freshman mind, I was like, what are you talking about? They're in the same conference.
Nope.
This is 2-1.
Not quite.
Yeah, that's when I learned that you could play teams in the same conference and it wouldn't count towards the conference standings. It occasionally happens in basketball. There was the Cal-Colorado football game that was a non-conference game the first year that Colorado was in the Pac-12. This chopper up the middle for a base hit for Larson. And remember that Cal-Colorado game had been previously scheduled before all the conference movement. Our junior announcer put some oomph to it. I like it.
Yeah, not bad.
Ray Reynolds will step in. Struck out swinging in the second inning. Freshman from B-Town, as they call Bakersfield. At least some Bakersfield natives call it that. Spent plenty of time down there. Nice. That's fouled off. A couple nice places to eat. Nice, really nice hotel we'd stay at. Marriott on Truxton. Our G League travels.
The Blaze?
So that's the minor league baseball team.
Okay.
Bakersfield Jam was the
Jam.
basketball team.
Okay.
And they had the Bakersfield Condors who play at Rabobank. It's the Cooper Overlord has changed. I don't think it's Rabobank Arena anymore, but it was attached to the Marriott.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Bakersfield Jam did not play there when we were in the league, and Bakersfield was still there. They are no longer in the G League. Count 2-1 to Brady Reynolds, with Larson standing on first, taking his lead. He's got one stolen base this year. Markle looking at him as he comes home. The high cheese swung on and missed. Strike two. You ever been down to Bakersfield?
Been through it.
Okay.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it is, yeah, on the way to L.A. Here's the 2-2. Markle staring at Larson, comes home, and a high chopper hit to first. Tobias turns to second, and Markle unable to cover the bag. So fielder's choice there. Will allow Reynolds to stand at first.
Sun Devils infield's getting a lot of work today, aren't they?
Well, they are, yeah. So Haskins grounded out to Markle.
A-State 9th in fielding percentage in the Pac-12 entering this weekend.
Showing a good glove today. That one hit sharply to third. There's Karstetter. Nice glove and a great throw. A strike over to first. And it's, the Web Gems continue for Arizona State as we head to the fifth, and Arizona State holds a 5-1 lead. Top of the fifth, 5-1 Arizona State, and here with the PXP of the fifth inning is Troy Clarity.
Thank you, Kevin. 5-1 Arizona State with the lead. Kien Vu, the two-spot hitter, coming up to the plate for the Sun Devils, walked and scored in the first, struck out swinging in the second. On an 82-degree afternoon, the warmest weather we've had here in the Bay Area so far this year. Before things start to cool off just a little bit. Lim deals inside. It's ball one to Kien Vu. Lim with 5 strikeouts and 3 walks and now 4+ innings worth of work. Swings and misses at the fastball on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, next weekend the temperature is supposed to be in the mid-70s after living in the low 80s this week.
90 in Tempe right now, by the way. There's that curve dropped in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Had a chance to pop over next door for a few moments before the game today. Stanford women's soccer in its spring season. They were playing UC Davis, so had a chance to check that out for a few minutes or so. Their regular season will be here before we know it, with Lim stepping off.
You want to talk about a powerhouse of a conference, ACC women's soccer.
Yeah.
When you got Stanford, you got North Carolina, Florida State, Duke.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. I mean, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I believe a pitch clock violation may have been called against Lim on the previous sequence. Now the count is 3-2. Yeah, and look, the Pac-12 has been right up there, probably the top conference in the country, but the top of the ACC, maybe just a smidge ahead of the top of the Pac-12 over the last couple of years as Vu walks.
Yeah, I mean, you can count on there being at least one ACC team every year in the College Cup. And I don't think, especially with Stanford going into the ACC, I don't think that's going to die down
going forward, I think you still can.
Yeah.
Well, drop whatever you're doing and watch. Here comes Nick McLean. 3-run home run in the first, solo home run in the third. 3 home runs so far this weekend. And he swings and fouls this one off opposite field, heading towards the right field plaza. McLean transferred from UCLA after the 2022 season. He actually missed the first half of last year with a hand injury, but made up for it with an impressive back half of the 2023 season. He began his stretch run last year with an 11-game hit streak, and he's been able to carry much of what he was able to do in a truncated season for him last year into this season. He's down 0-2 here. No balls and 2 strikes. The pitch fouled off of Moore's mask, but he's okay. And the count stays at 0-2. But it was kind of nice to see a little soccer for a few minutes or so. Stanford making the national championship game last year. Could very well be in position to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament again in the upcoming season. We'll see what happens.
Losing to an ACC team?
Yep. Florida State got him. And look, Florida State was a fantastic squad last year. No balls and 2 strikes. Runner going. Lim throws to first. The throw to second. Got him. Teamwork makes the dream work. And Vu is erased at second. The first time he's been thrown out on the base paths this year.
Yeah, they got him leaning the wrong way. Vu still almost got into second. That was a closer play than I expected it to be, but nice work there starting with Lim.
So base is empty for McLean, who smacks it right to Cobb. Doesn't even have to move. 2 away. Well, that sequence worked out as well as it could have for the Cardinal.
Yep.
But the work not done yet. Jacob Tobias, Arizona State's leader in home runs so far this season. Singled in the first, struck out in the third. Looking forward to seeing the women's soccer schedule whenever that's announced.
Yeah, that season starts in August, middle of August, second, third weekend of August.
Yep.
So I imagine you're getting it in June, somewhere around there, maybe early July.
Yeah, or maybe even before that. Who knows?
Perhaps before.
Especially intrigued to see if and where Stanford faces North Carolina.
Yeah.
Thanks to some thoughts from one Anson Dorrance.
Yeah. Ooh.
1 ball, no strikes. Floats the breaking ball right in there, 1-1.
Let's just say Anson Dorrance a little less than enthused about Stanford and Cal joining the ACC.
Yeah, well, you know what? He'll have to deal with it. Fastball just misses a little bit high, 1-2. Or check that 2-1.
And to me, that was out of all the times Stanford's been in the national championship game in women's soccer, the loss in 2009 to North Carolina was the most frustrating one. Had 2 goals called off due to offsides. Kelly O'Hara gets the red card. UNC, they had one of the color commentator was a former UNC alum, and so me watching with my Cardinal-colored glasses, just say I was a little frustrated.
It's all right. They made up for it in 2019, though.
Yes,
2-2. Tries the fastball, just misses maybe a little bit low. The count's full. Stanford women's soccer beating North Carolina in the final in 2019, just right down the road at PayPal Park in San Jose. Great moment. The 3-2. Skied high, lifted well, foul, and out of play.
Usually when Stanford makes it to the national championship, they are facing an ACC school. I'm thinking about And they beat Duke in 2011, lost to Notre Dame in 2010. Notre Dame might have been Big East back then. I can't. Yeah, don't quote me on that one.
But the point remains.
Yeah, they're ACC now.
3-2 pitch once again from Lim to Tobias. Hit to right field on his horse Reynolds. Bounces in front of him for a base hit. So the inning extended for Brandon Compton, who's looking for his first base hit of the day. Walked into third, hit into a fielder's choice, and later came around to score in the first. With Tobias at first. Next pitch will be Christian Lim's 90th. No action in the Stanford bullpen right now. It's a good-looking pitch right down Palm Drive. 0-1.
And 92 on the gun.
No balls and 1 strike. A little bit high. 1-1. Arizona State women's soccer has had some good teams over the last few years. Graham Winkworth, the head coach. Nicole Douglas scored at will.
Big-time goal scorer.
She was a lot of fun to watch.
I remember Graham Winkworth, whenever the Arizona State would come in and I'd do one of the games, his joke he'd make is, I asked him about tactics. He said, "You see that bus over there? We're going to park it." Always got a kick out of that.
Good guy to chat with.
Yeah.
Count 2-2 on Compton. Of course, Paul Ratcliffe, the head coach of Stanford women's soccer.
One of the best.
Great dude.
Yeah.
Great dude. Legit great dude. Two balls, 2 strikes. And a base hit to right. Tobias holds up at second. Back-to-back base hits with 2 outs. And now Brandon Compton is on an 8-game hit streak.
And 16 of his last 30, if I'm doing my math.
Believe you are.
It's 533. Not too shabby.
Infield brought in for a chat with Ethan Mendoza, waiting to take some swings in the batter's box. On a gorgeous 82-degree afternoon, Game 2 of this series underway. Game 3 tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. first pitch. 1 o'clock p.m. or thereabouts. We'll get you started on the Stanford live stream. Kevin, you'll be on that one solo.
Yeah, I'll be rocking the scene, entertaining myself. Should be a good time. Hopefully, for Stanford's sake, it'll be the rubber match. Well, they got plenty of work to do to make that be the case.
Mendoza singled in the first, was later thrown out at third for the third out, and hit into a 6-4-3 double play in the third. Waits on this one, Moore blocks it for ball 1. Mendoza from South Lake Carroll High School, another Metroplex reference there. He's from Bedford, Texas. He actually helped lead Carroll High to the state championship during his days there. Fastball, low and inside, 2-0. Some folks start to head down to the Stanford bullpen. The 2-0 to Mendoza. Waits on it. Misses outside, 3-0. Lim gathers himself. Steps back on the rubber. And deals. Misses outside. Bases loaded.
And all this damage with 2 outs, and this becomes a very big at-bat. Look, 4 runs. I know Arizona State through the first 13 innings has only given up 2 runs to Stanford, but again, the 6.80 ERA coming in is a 6.80 ERA coming in. If you keep this to a 4-run deficit, you got to like your chances to come back and compete. But if they can get a big hit here, might turn things a little sideways from a Stanford perspective.
Harris Williams singled, an infield single in the first. Struck out swinging to begin the fourth. Breaking ball, called strike 1. Williams against Oregon back on March 10th, 3 for 4 with a home run. Bases loaded. Singles for Tobias and Compton at third and second, respectively. Mendoza walked. He's at first. Fastball misses low, 1-1. Timo Becerra just ahead of the bag on the lip of the grass on the infield. 1-1. Hit right to net eye. Takes 5 steps, tags the bag, and retires the side. Devils leave them loaded, and it remains a 5-1 lead for Arizona State. Bottom 5th in just a moment. Bottom 5th, Cardinal about to pick up the bats and try to work their way into this 5-1 Arizona State lead. We begin at the bottom of the order, Timo Becerra, who singled in the second. Connor Markle, 3 strikeouts, no walks. And working quickly as Markle keeps a good tempo here, fires a first pitch strike.
Yeah, I think the Stanford bats would say after this pitch would like the spirit of these cornhole tossers input into Connor Markle because they were not very accurate.
That could have gone better. High to left field, but it'll stay in the park. Williams makes the grab. Yeah, the cornhole contest, not a high school level shown there, unfortunately.
Let's just say we've seen better.
We'll leave it at that.
Those guys will not be on the Ocho.
No. Back to the top of the order we go. Owen Cobb 0 for 2. Strikeout and the ground out so far in this one. Cobb with a 13-game hit streak as of right now.
He's got at least a couple more plate appearances.
Markle fires a fastball in there for a called strike 1. Nice moment for the game today as the Stanford men's gymnastics team, the national champion Stanford men's gymnastics team, was honored before the game. Hit on the ground, right to Tobias, has to shovel it to Markle, who beats Cobb to the bag, 2 away.
Just barely.
Cobb was hustling for all it was worth.
Yeah. Probably have a little extra pep in your step when you're 0 for 2 and you got a 13-game hitting streak going.
So that brings up Ethan Hott, who singled and came around to score on a balk, and then grounded to second in the third. Stanford men's gymnastics winning its 5th straight national championship a couple weeks ago. So they were honored before the game today. One of the student athletes threw out the first pitch. I missed which one it was, unfortunately. That's a bad job by me by not paying attention. As the count goes to 2-0 on Hott. But, of course, with that national championship for Stanford, that means that the Cardinal at Stanford has won a team national championship in 48 straight years.
The streak continues. That is one of the crazier streaks out there.
And maybe a couple more out there for Stanford to get before the season's done. The 3-0. Hott taking that one all the way. It goes over for a strike 1.
Well, unfortunately, Stanford women's water polo will not be providing the next national championship. They did defeat USC in the quarterfinals yesterday, but losing in the semifinals to top-seeded UCLA 10-8 today. And of course, they had 5 players off training with national teams in an Olympic year, so they were not expected to win it this year.
Some folks didn't expect them to make it to the championships this weekend, but they did. Low and inside, ball 4. Hot on base for the second time this afternoon. Brings up Court McDonald, who singled in the first and grounded out in the third. So the season done for women's water polo. There will be a new national championship now in that sport as Stanford's efforts to claim the three-peat there will fall just a couple steps short.
So UCLA will play the winner of Cal or Hawaii, and it'll be the first time that we have had this pairing in the national championship, whoever it is.
Well, normally it's been Stanford versus USC. But they met in the quarterfinal round yesterday.
Since it's been the NCAA, since NCAA sponsored Women's Water Polo National Championship, only Cal has appeared in it once, and then Stanford, USC, and UCLA have appeared in every other national championship game.
McDonald fouls it off, 1-1. So Stanford women's water polo will not get a national championship this year, but still a fantastic season by any stretch and any standard. Women's tennis, let's see how they do. As they've moved on to the NCAA championships, 1-1. Fastball right down the middle, 1-2.
Let me correct myself. LMU made the national championship game in 2004.
Okay.
But outside of that, it has been either Cal, Stanford, USC, and then the one, or USC, Stanford, UCLA, then the one Cal appearance in 2011.
On the ground to Mendoza. And the inning is over. 5-1, Arizona State takes the lead to the 6th on Stanford Livestream. Top of the 6th inning is here. Sunken Diamond, Arizona State with a 5-1 lead over the Stanford Cardinal, who are turning to a new pitcher to begin the 6th inning. Kevin Dana will take you through the 6th and the 7th.
Thank you, Troy. Trevor Moore, the new guy on the bump for the Cardinal, 6'1", 213-pound sophomore out of Golden, Colorado, making his 23rd appearance this season, 22nd out of the pen. 3-0 with a 5.13 ERA and a save, 47 in the third innings pitched, 56 hits, 32 runs, 27 earned, 21 walks against 47 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .292 against the righty, who's tied for 6th in appearances in the Pac-12. Coming into the weekend, his father Tim played for Stanford baseball, graduating in '92. Kevin Karstetter get us started down to a knee, taking a home run cut there, swing and a miss.
getting hollered at a little bit by his teammates in the Sun Devil dugout.
Fastball clocked at 93. On an 88, 0-2. A couple of swings and misses from Karstetter, who doubled up the middle on a slow roller, legged out a double on what looked to be like a routine single. Here's the 0-2 in the dirt. 1-2.
Well, here's why Karstetter may have been hustling extra quickly on the base paths that last time around. Against Grand Canyon, April 9th, went 3 of 4 with an RBI. That was on April 9th. He had just 3 hits in 23 at-bats since then, entering today.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, yeah, so certainly trying to get up take up more bases, as many as he can. By the way, we can close the book on Christian Lim. Went 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. It's a lot of 5s. Through 101 pitches, 58 of them 4 strikes. Here's Steven Ondina. And he lifts this one to right, and that'll stay up for Reynolds. Quickly 2 away, taking just 5 pitches to get those 2 out. So Ondina now 0 for 3. That'll bring up Ryan Campos, who's 0 for 2.
Yeah, Lim with the 2 walks to begin the game, and then the 3-run home run by Nick McLean. So down already 3-0 was Lim before he could even really get going.
Yeah.
And then serving up another solo shot to McLean later on.
Yeah, he gave up 3 runs before he got out. Campos, he walked in the first, struck out swinging in the second, flied out to right in the fourth, and clocked at 95, missing just in.
Lim was able to work out of a bases-loaded jam and emerge unscathed from that in the 5th inning, and struck out the side in the 2nd inning. So kind of the epitome of a mixed experience for Lim today.
4-mile-an-hour fastball over the outside corner, strike 1. He loaded the bases in the 5th after retiring the first 2 batters. And eventually, a sharp ground out to first. That was a hit at 100 miles an hour off the bat. Curveball, a little high, 2-1.
So 2 pitches ago, Moore went 95 miles an hour with the fastball.
Yeah.
Here he comes with a curve at 78.
Yeah, 17-mile-an-hour difference. Pretty big delta there. There's a 2-1 to Campos. Cranks that one back, and it's roped up the middle into right center. Campos turning first. He's heading towards second, and it's bobbled in the outfield. He is turning for third, and the relay also bobbled. It is a extra base hit for Ryan Campos. And a runner on third with 2 down.
Campos smacked that one sharply. And it just kept rolling and rolling, and by the time Hott finally got there, did not get it cleanly. And Campos taking advantage and ending up safe at third.
And so it's going to be a double E8. Air goes to Ethan Hott. Fastball missing low and in to Kien Vu, who's reached base twice via a couple of walks. Struck out swinging in the second. He's 0 for 1. Campos has scored 61 runs this year, including a couple today. Seen low and in. Count 2-0 to the San Diego native. Swing and a miss. Vu. The Point Loma High. Entered the weekend second in the Pac-12 in batting average, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. Fastball misses in. 3-1. So McLean on deck. It's a guy you'd like to face with nobody on base, and to start the 7th inning. The count is full here to Kien Vu. 3-2. Big pitch right here. And just fouled off. And Malcolm Moore, worse for wear. Doubled over. Not sure exactly where that tagged him, but member of the train staff going to take a look.
Might have hit him in the neck.
Oh.
David Esker walking out there to see what assistance, if not the very least reassurance he can be. But Moore immediately reached up towards his throat as he went down to ground. Of course, this is a similar scene yesterday, but involving an umpire, Jeff Henricks, who is now at third base today. He was calling balls and strikes last night, and he took one right off the forehead, and he was actually hunched over for a few moments and had to try to regather himself. That was last night. Here's Moore today, trying to work through some things.
Gets his helmet back, gets a nice round of applause. He's going to stay in there.
Tough kid.
Yeah.
You got to be if you're playing that position.
That's for sure.
And if your nickname is the natural by the time you're age 6, you're not coming out.
Yeah.
It's just going to take a lot more than that to come out of the ball game.
From Sacramento, went to McClatchy High, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year, top recruit in California by perfect game, and the #1 catcher in the nation. He's considered the 57th best prospect in the 2022 MLB draft.
You wore baseball shoes to kindergarten.
How about that? Here's the 3-2, and that's ball 4. So McLean with 2 home runs today. Now will be batting from the left side. Is homered from the left side of the plate this weekend. Those first 2 home runs coming from the right side against the lefty Lim. Runners on the corners. Be interesting to see how careful they are with McLean.
Well, Arizona State trying anything on the base paths here. Vu thrown out, but he's still 8 of 9 on stolen bases so far this season. Campos 4 of 8.
And this one drilled foul down the right field line. First base coach had to duck out of the way. I believe that's Mike Goff over there. Third base coach Anthony Gillich. Willie Bloomquist. Swung on and missed. Big cut taken by McLean. High fastball. And he's 2 for 3. He also grounded out to second in the 5th. Be a big out for Trevor Moore to get here in the 6th. Campos on third, Vu on first. Here's the 0-2 to McLean. Missing high. 5 runs, 9 hits, 5 left for Arizona State. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error, 5 left for Stanford. Here with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. That's going to be a ball. 20-second clock ran out. Moore taking his time. That's in the dirt. Fakes the throw over to second. And Vu will take second. So second and third, 2 down.
And Moore probably doing the wise thing, just eating the ball and letting Vu take second.
Yeah. Then you can get Campos trying to take home. And that's a cut foul. Vu on second, Campos on third. 2-2 the count. And that's fouled out of play behind everyone. Big spot here. You do have first base open if you want. Do not have to give in to McLean. And it's just crushed pitching over the last week and a half or so. Takes strike 3 on the curve. Wow, what a pitch there from Trevor Moore to end the threat and keep the Sun Devils off the board for the 3rd straight half inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Stanford still trailing 5-1. Bottom 6. Arizona State still had 5-1 over Stanford. Malcolm Moore got tagged behind home plate. Lead things off. 78 pitches through 5 innings for Markle, who's still out there. He has topped 100 pitches. He's gotten to triple digits twice, last time at UCLA in a win for the Sun Devils on April 20th. Here's the first pitch to Moore, and he smokes this one foul. Home run distance, but well foul. Through 79 pitches his last outing, where he only went 2 2/3 in the 14-9 loss, and then in a win over USC, went 81 pitches as Moore smokes this one down the right field line, but also foul. That one held by the bullpen. Gave up just 1 run, 3 hits in those 6 innings, in a big win over USC. Here's the 0-2 to Moore. So a couple of loud strikes and then takes the fastball outside for ball 1. Markle has struck out 3, has just walked 1, scattering 5 hits across the first 5 innings. There's Moore. The 1-2 in the dirt. Moore is 1 for 2. Now hitting .256 on the season. 2-2, swung on and missed, and the throw will be in time. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th, and that'll bring up Jimmy Nadai. Take a look at some scores from around the Pac-12. An early final, Arizona defeating Utah, so they have tied that series up at a game apiece. 8-4, the Wildcats over the Utes at Smith's Ballpark. Top 7 in Pullman, Washington State with a 3-2 lead over USC. Had a big win over the Trojans last night. Strike 1 taken. Bottom 7 in Berkeley. Evans Diamond, Cal, and San Jose State tied up at 3. The Golden Bears, one of the first 4 out alongside Utah, according to the last NCAA baseball bracketology put out by Baseball America earlier this week. Not going to get a whole lot of help by beating San Jose State, but you can do yourself a disservice by losing that series. So certainly want to rack up those wins if you're the Golden Bears. Nadai, did he go? No, says first base umpire Travis Eggert. I count 2-1. Tonight, Oregon State and UCLA, 5 p.m. first pitch at Goss in Corvallis, and then Washington hosting Oregon, 5:05 first pitch as there's strike 2 taken by Nadai.
And by the way, with that result, with Arizona beating Utah, Wildcats do get the split, but perhaps more importantly, that means that Utah cannot overtake them in the standings this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Swung on, foul tipped into the glove of Campos, and 2 away here in the 6th. Yeah, so Arizona will enter into the final weekend of conference play in first place. Brandon Larson now, who was at first base yesterday, showed off a nice glove. DHing today. Nadai at first. This one chopped foul down the first base line. It'll be quite the series to wrap up conference play. Arizona and Oregon State. Conference title will be on the line. I'll be in Tucson at High Corbett Field.
Yeah, 4,000 plus at Goss Stadium last night for the Beavers and the Bruins.
There's the 0-2 missing in. Arizona making it all the way to the finals of the College World Series a few years back. Lost to Coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers getting it done. There's the 1-2, just missing outside to Larson. Campos tried to frame that one. Here's the 2-2. And this one fouled off. Larson gets enough of that. Sends it into the second section of seating. Quite the upper deck, but no upper deck here at Sunken Diamond. You have 5, 6 rows, depending where you're at, and a little break in the stands, then another set of stands. That's where it landed. It's the count full now. 3-2 of the Pac-12 softball tournament championship today. UCLA and Utah. This will be 7 p.m. start here on the farm. 3-2 pitch is roped to left. Heading back to the track and making the catch on the run is Harris Williams. So loud out there from Larson. That'll take us to the 7th. Arizona State still leading Stanford by 4. Your score, 5-1 Devils. Top of the 7th, Arizona State leading Stanford 5-1. Jacob Tobias will lead things off. It's 4, 5, 6 here. Middle of the order for the Sun Devils. Troy covering me there.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Here's another sneeze. Thank you. And the first pitch to Tobias is a strike. Trevor Moore out for a second inning of work. Should mention Saborn Campbell now in right field. Got a double in the 9th inning last night for his 6th hit of the season, bumping his average up to 207. Tobias takes a pitch outside off speed. He's 2 for 3 with a couple of singles and struck out looking in the 3rd. He's got his average up to 312 now. Tobias takes the breaking ball for strike 2.
Campbell, by the way, will lead off for the Cardinal in the bottom of the 7th inning, so perhaps another reason why he is making his appearance now in this game.
I believe he led off the bottom of the 9th last night.
He did.
There's the 1-2. Did not come home. 13-1 game, leadoff double, did not amount to much in the 12-run loss. 1-2 here to Tobias. Moore needed 23 pitches to get out of the first. That one's in the dirt, hops over Moore with nobody on base, no damage done. There's a 2-2 pitch. That one's line foul. 2 strikeouts for Moore, 5 for Lim, 7 strikeouts for Stanford pitching. Looking for number 8 right here, and number 3 for Trevor. As that one is tapped over to first, Nadai just has to take a couple of steps to his left. 1 away. That'll bring up Brandon Compton. 1 for 2 with a walk. Compton, who is not from Compton, he's from Buckeye, which is a western suburb of Phoenix. He has 3 grand slams this year. Not going to hit a grand slam here, obviously, as this one's foul. It's tied for second most in Arizona State single-season history. Hit .597 as a senior in high school. It's always fun looking at what these kids do in high school and see some of the astronomical numbers they put up. .597, man. 6 hits every 10 at-bats, basically. 3 for 5 every day at the plate, essentially, is what Compton did in high school. Is he takes ball 1.
One of those grand slams he hit this year was a pinch hit grand slam against USC, like on April the 28th.
There's the 1-1. This one popped foul. And lands about 7 rows up. Arizona State going 2-1 against USC this year. 2-1 against Washington. 2-1 at Arizona. Swept Cal and UCLA, got swept by Oregon State and Washington State. Here's the 1-2 to Compton from Moore. Curveball hit softly to third. Becerra makes the play. Yeah, there's 2 out here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, but by and large, Arizona State has fared well against the teams that they're looking up at right now in the Pac-12 standings.
Yeah, just think, if you don't get swept by Washington State, that doesn't help things.
Yeah.
That could be a little bit better. And in 5th at 15-13 after USC's loss last night. There's Ethan Mendoza. Mendoza hit sharply to short. Haskins with a good glove. Low throw. Good play made by Nadi at first. Quick inning, 3 up, 3 down for the Sun Devils. Nothing across for ASU at the top of the 7th. That'll take us to the 7th inning stretch here on the farm with Arizona State leading 5-1. 5-1 Arizona State leading Stanford as we head to the bottom of the 7th. And got a reliever on the mound for ASU. It is Jonah Giblin, redshirt junior from Seattle, Washington. 6'4", 230-pounder, making his 15th appearance this season. 14th out of the pen, no record with a 4.85 ERA and a 1.54 whip. He'll first deal with Saborn Campbell. 26 innings, 26 hits, 16 runs, 14 earned, 14 walks against 30 strikeouts. Opponents hitting 257 against him. He's only given up 1 earned run over his last 8 appearances. That's 15 1/3 innings pitched. He has lowered his ERA from 10.03 to 4.85 over that stretch. Saborn Campbell takes strike 1.
Giblin with 2 relief appearances against Stanford last year through a scoreless inning on May 5th and gave up 3 runs in 3 innings on May 6th of last year. So mixed results against the Cardinal for Giblin in 2023.
It's been worse than mixed results for Arizona State as of late against the Cardinal. They had lost 16 of 19 before yesterday against Stanford.
Had not won in this building since 2016 until last night.
Of course.
They have not won a series against Stanford since 2016. That could potentially change here today.
There's the 1-2, missing high. Stanford swept them last year. Down in Arizona. 2-2 to Saborn Campbell here. And Saborn hits this one to Ondina at short. Ondina beats the hustling Campbell for the first out of the 7th. The scores of that series, 8-6, 12-11, and 9-4, May 5th through 7th. At Phoenix Municipal Stadium, where the Sun Devils play. Holds about 5,000. Trevor Haskins now, San Jose native. Who's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. 5 hits for the Cardinal. By the way, Connor Markle, we can close the book on him. There's strike 1. And it was a really nice outing for Markle. The Arizona State starter went 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Through 95 pitches, 57 for strikes, so a 60% strike rate as Markle lowered his ERA from 4.58 to 4.28. 1-1 hits the outside corner for strike 2.
So Arizona State, a team that was not known for its pitching, at least certainly statistically coming into this week. Ben Jacobs, their starter last night, throws 6 shutout innings, strikes out 9. And Connor Markle, 6 effective innings today.
Fastball just missing outside at 93 miles an hour. Yeah. They're course correcting a little bit from the worst ERA in the Pac-12 at 6.80 coming in. They've given up just 2 runs in the first 15 innings of Stanford hitting that they've faced. Count run full here by Giblin on Hawaiian shirt giveaway day. big line when I entered the park. Fans waiting those Hawaiian shirts. Strike 3. Swing and a miss for Haskins. 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Reminds me of the movie Office Space. You ever see Office Space, Troy?
Oh, yeah.
Bill Lumbergh, boss, the policy Hawaiian shirt Fridays
Yeah.
in the office,
Yeah.
if you wanted to. He said it with so much enthusiasm.
I'll make sure that I wear more flair next time.
Yeah,
I
15
come
pieces
in.
now,
Yeah,
Troy.
sorry about that.
Look at Brian. He has 37 pieces of flair.
Oh, Brian.
Looks like somebody has a case of the Mondays, Troy. The Stanford Cardinal have had a case of the Mondays at the plate this weekend thus far. 1-1 to Timo Becerra. Has one of the 5 hits today with a single in the second. Two and one. Giblin, a transfer from Oregon State and Phoenix Community College, did not play at Oregon State. That's in the dirt, 3-1 at Phoenix Community College a couple of years ago, or Phoenix College. It is a JUCO, but 1-0 with a 1.17 ERA. Struck out 83 and 69 in a third innings pitched, mostly out of the pen. He's a top 10 recruit out of the state of Washington. He's from Seattle. Here's the 3-1. Swung on and missed. For strike 2 to Timo Becerra.
Giblin threw a scoreless inning against his former team at Oregon State back on April the 7th.
And he throws a scoreless inning here in the 7th on May 11th against Stanford. And he gets a couple of strikeouts. Haskins and Becerra as we head to the top of the 8th. Arizona State still with that 4-run lead. 8th inning, Arizona State 5, Stanford 1. Here to bring us home and to introduce the new pitcher on the mound for Stanford is Troy Clarity.
Thank you, Kevin. Ben Reimers on the mound now for the Cardinal, the freshman from Aliso Viejo, California. Reimers on the year, about to make his 20th appearance, has a 3-1 record and an ERA of 10.68. 30 in the third innings pitched. 25 strikeouts versus 19 walks. Opposing batters have hit .320 against the youngster. Out of the bullpen, his dad, Tom, pitched for Stanford from 1994 to 96. I saw him with my very own eyes. And Tom was an integral part in Stanford's run to Omaha in 1995. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Sun Devils. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error for the Cardinals. Stanford has not had a base hit since the 4th inning. While Harris Williams steps up to the plate to lead things off for the Sun Devils here in the 8th. Williams with an infield single in the 1st, strikeout in the 4th, ground out in the 5th. Facing off against the righty, Ben Reimers. First pitch is up high for ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Williams. And that was in there for a called strike 1. This is Arizona State's final Pac-12 series. Not just of the season, of course, but you know what I mean. As they're actually hosting 2 different teams
yeah, that's an interesting
next week.
Setup.
Popped up, not playable. So that will land behind us, and the count goes to 1-2. Arizona State hosting Texas Tech Thursday, Friday, and then hosting UNLV for 1 on Saturday. So a bit of an unconventional scheduling arrangement there, especially in season, or in regular season, I should say. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On the ground, past Cobb. Williams with his second base hit of the day.
Yeah, made a diving stab at it, just snuck underneath his glove there for Owen.
So that'll bring up Kevin Karstetter, who hit a hustle double to center, shallow center in the 4th.
The hustle double to end all hustle doubles.
One that Willie Bloomquist, I'm sure, still would not advise.
Yeah.
And probably let Kevin know about it when he got back to the dugout after it was all said and done. Low one outside for ball one to Carstetter, who rewrote the State College of Florida's record books. Set program marks and hits, runs, doubles, RBI, at bats, and also with a 31-game hit streak. So he was certainly productive, the young man from State College, Pennsylvania, at the State College of Florida. 1 ball, no strikes. Quick throw once again from Reimers to first. Williams is 7 of 10 in stolen bases this season. Thinks about it, doesn't go for it. 2-0 the count to Carstetter. So this is Arizona State's last chance to make its case in the Pac-12 standings here this weekend. After that, they'll wait and see what the teams around them in the standings do next week. 2-0, pumped down low, 3-0 to Carstetter. So they'll be keeping a close eye on what Cal does next week. Perhaps a close eye on Oregon as well.
Yeah, the best they could probably hope for is 4th. I mean, they could get a little bit higher. Realistically speaking, that's probably what their ceiling is. They win today, they secure a winning regular season in conference play.
It's 9 teams that go into the tournament. 3 balls and 1 strike to Carstetter. Runner going, the pitch high, it's ball 4. So a single and a walk to lead things off for Arizona State. 9 teams of the 11 in the Pac-12 go to the tournament, with Thomas Eager, the Kathy Wolf assistant coach, jogging out to the mound. Normally it's a walk. He's kind of ripped up the tempo there a little bit.
Yeah.
9 teams in, and it's not a straight bracket. It's not, 9v8 play-in, and then, you go to a straight bracket from there.
Like softball did.
Like softball did, yep. No, it's 3 pods containing 3 teams apiece. Everybody plays each other. Team with the best record in each, plus a wild card team, advances to the semis and then the finals.
It's an interesting setup, and is
a bit more fair for baseball.
And seeding very important, because for that tiebreaker for the wild card, it goes to whoever has the highest seed. So that could be your ticket to extending your season.
Yep, that could make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Steven Ondina, the batter, he's 0 for 3 today with a strikeout in second and a couple of flyouts since then. No outs, 2 on. Ondina shows bunt as that pitch goes high and tight.
So basically, if you win the Pac-12 regular season, you just need to win one of those 2 games, and you're on to the semis.
Yep. One ball and no strikes. Misses low with Ondina showing bunt once again. 2-0. So that's how the setup is at the Pac-12 tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. Two balls, no strikes. The pitch, the bunt, foul, 2-1. Of course, everyone is fighting for the Pac-12's automatic qualifier. Kevin was looking at the bracketology a little bit earlier in the show. Cal, one of the first 4 out, you saw?
Yeah, and Utah as well. You got Arizona, Oregon State, Oregon safely in.
Down the first base line. This is a good bunt. And Reimers has no play anywhere. Bases loaded, nobody out.
thought he might have had a chance to get him. I don't think that was going to roll foul, though. He gave it as much as of a ride as he could, but that was a beautiful bunt by Dana.
Nathan Fleischle hustling down to the Stanford bullpen. Brett Blair, one of the reserve catchers, heading down there too.
Fleischle got some action last night.
Yeah. His 6th game of the year. Back to the top of the Sun Devil order we go. It's Ryan Campos, who doubled in his last plate appearance, ended up at 3rd thanks to a fielding error in center by Ethan Hott. That's Campos' only base hit of the day. He also walked and later came around to score in the 1st. And Arizona State, with a chance to do what it did last night, blow this game wide open late. They put up a 6 spot in the top of the 9th last night. Campos fouls this one off. Count goes to 0-2. Harris Williams with a single at 3rd. Carstetter a walk at 2nd. Ondina a picture-perfect bunt single down the first base line at 1st. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Fouled off. And landing just beyond the visitors' bullpen. Count stays at 0-2.
Definitely looking for a strikeout here if you're Reimers.
No balls and 2 strikes. Smack back up the middle and through for a base hit. Williams scores easily. Carstetter being given the green light, and he's in. 2-run single for Ryan Campos makes it 7-1 Arizona State.
It was a bit of a slow start to the weekend for Campos. He was 1 for his first 8 this weekend, but a double, now a 2-run single. His bat certainly has woken up.
Here's Kian Vu. No base hits today, but he has walked 3 times. Scored once. 2 on, nobody out. Nathan Fleischle is warming up in the Stanford bullpen. Reimers exhales from the chest. The pitch. Fastball down low for ball 1 to Kian Vu. One ball and no strikes. It's down low for ball 2. Interesting that Utah's maybe on the bubble, at least at this point anyway.
Yeah, they were listed as like the 2nd team out. They were the 2nd team out. Cal was the 4th team out, part of the first 4 out. Oregon State a 1. They're the number 9 overall national seed. This is according to Baseball America's latest bracketology. And then you also have Arizona as a 2 and Oregon as a 2. Right now they have Arizona going to UC Santa Barbara and Oregon going to Kentucky, which is the top overall seed.
2-1 the count to Vu. Well, perhaps that's a function of Utah's non-conference scheduling. Might be a little bit tough to, obviously they have to play many of their early season games away from Salt Lake City as the weather hasn't quite turned yet in February and through much of March. That goes over, count 3-1.
Yeah, you just think if you're a Pac-12 team that's 16-10 in conference and 31-17, that you'd be safely in.
Yeah, you'd think. The 3-1. Lifted, back to right, track, wall, gone. For the 2nd straight game, Kian Vu has hit a 3-run bomb late in the game. He's threatening to overrun Ryan Campos on the base paths. He's so excited. And the Sun Devils, once again, have blown it open. It's 10-1.
exit velocity of 104 miles an hour, 394 feet, launch angle of 38 degrees and change. And, just Reimers didn't have it today.
Single, walk, single, home run. And Reimers' afternoon is done. (10-1). Arizona State with the lead. New pitcher coming in for the Cardinal. We'll tell you about him in just a moment on Stanford Livestream. Sun Devils have pushed 5 across in the top of the 8th. They lead Stanford 10-1. Cardinal turning to their 4th pitcher of the afternoon. His name, Jaden Bruno. Bruno, a senior from Wellington, Florida, about to make just his 2nd appearance of the season. The last time he took the mound was February 23rd at Penn State. Threw a scoreless inning, gave up 1 hit, and struck out 2 against the Nittany Lions back on February 23rd. That's the only other time that we've seen Jaden Bruno so far this season. Of course, you remember his brother Ryan Bruno, who became Stanford's closer recently. Pitched Stanford through some intriguing moments and some big postseason runs. But now here's Jaden Bruno on the mound here at Sunken Diamond. Jaden, one of 2 seniors to be recognized before tomorrow's game. Tommy O'Rourke, the other. O'Rourke, a veteran arm out of the bullpen, but injured before the season began and has not been able to pitch so far this year, affecting the depth of the Stanford bullpen this season, and perhaps a reason, along with Ty Uber as well, a reason why we've seen some of the things we've seen from the Stanford bullpen this year. First pitch from Bruno goes over 93 miles an hour. Fastball right down the middle for strike 1 to Nick McLean. Talk about getting shoved into the pool, facing the guy, your first batter, who's already homered twice so far today.
Welcome to the ball game, Jaden.
1 ball and 1 strike to McLean. McLean has been magnificent this weekend. 1-1. Curve misses 2-1. McLean last week against UW pitching 8 of 16, 3 home runs, 9 RBI, including going 5 for 5 in the series finale. Well, so far this weekend, he's been on as torrid a course. Outside 3-1.
Yeah, 5 of 9. So that's okay.
With 3 home runs.
Yeah.
And 7 RBI. With still a game to play. 3-1. Off of Bruno's foot and into center field for a base hit.
6 of 10.
McLean's been making solid contact all week, and even when they stay on the ground, he's gotten it done. Jacob Tobias with a couple of singles today, 1 in the first and 1 in the 5th. Struck out in the 3rd. Bruno backing up a little bit. Now he's ready. Pitch up high from Bruno for ball 1. Willie Bloomquist, the Arizona State head coach in his 3rd year leading the Sun Devils, was the Pac-10 Player of the Year at Arizona State in 1999. 1 ball, no strikes. High and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Of course, Willie Bloomquist, probably most known for his Major League Baseball career with Seattle. 2 stints there, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Arizona as well. As Bruno deals the 2-0, did Tobias go around? He did. Count goes to 2-1.
He is a part of Omaha lore. He had 5 hits in a College World Series game, tied CWS record.
It's not a bad list to be on.
No.
Owen Cobb in second base is actually playing shallow right as that's fouled off. Count goes to 2-2. And really, Bloomquist was just kind of plucked out of nowhere, it seemed. He said, look, I was just retired and enjoying life, and then I got the phone call to lead the program after Tracy Smith was let go following an NCAA regional season in 2021. And Willie said, all right, I'll do it. It's the only job I'm interested in. Fouled off again, 2-2.
Yeah, had been in the Diamondbacks front office for 5 years.
Two balls and two strikes. With McLean at first after singling. And now the count full on Tobias. Bloomquist finished his ASU career in the top 5 in several career Sun Devil offensive categories, is still there in many of those categories. Runner going, foul tip into the glove, throw down to second, strike him out, throw him out.
Beautifully done there by Malcolm Moore. This guy who entered the weekend, he had caught 17 guys stealing, second in the Pac-12. Add another one to the tally there.
Brings up Brandon Compton, who was able to extend his hit streak to 8 thanks to his single in the 5th. He also walked in the 3rd. Fastball low, picked out of the ground by Moore. 1 ball and no strikes to Compton. Five across for Arizona State so far in this top half of the 8th. 2-0. So Bloomquist in his 3rd year leading Arizona State. The 2-0. Hit right to short. Gobbled up by Haskins. The throw over to first in time for the out. 5 more across, however, for the Sun Devils. Kien Vu's 3-run shot, the big blow. 10-1 ASU. Bottom 8th in just a moment. Bottom of the 8th, about to get going. Arizona State with a 10-1 lead over Stanford. Defensive changes for the Sun Devils. Kien Vu has moved from center field to left, replacing Harris Williams. And Isaiah Jackson, who got the start in last night's series opener, is in the game in center. Terrific defensive player for the Sun Devils. Owen Cobb, his 13-game hit streak in jeopardy as he looks at a first pitch strike from Jonah Giblin. Giblin with 2 strikeouts and 1+ innings of work now. Quickly has Cobb down in the count, nothing in 2. The 0-2. Cobb looks at strike 3. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts now for Giblin. Brings up Ethan Hott, who walked in the 5th in his last plate appearance. Singled and scored Stanford's lone run back in the 1st. Stanford has not had a base hit since the 4th inning. And they've had 8 straight batters retired. Backhanded by Tobias. Wins the race to the bag. 2 away very quickly.
And not really making whoever's pitching, whether it's Giblin or Markle, work all that much as of late recently as well. Quick at-bat there. First pitch swinging. And Cobb striking out on 3 pitches. Haven't had too many battles.
Here's Court McDonald, infield single in the 1st. First pitch for ball 1. Isaiah Jackson in center. He's from Vail, Arizona, which is actually in the Tucson area. Wait a minute, what? A kid from the Tucson area goes to Arizona State? I didn't know that was legal. Well, Jackson will come up and make the grab on a couple of hops here with McDonald's second base hit of the afternoon.
Mark Mattson, of course, now the head coach at Cal, former Stanford basketball player. He's from the East Bay. You know, they happen every now and then.
There's that, yeah. And Isaiah said, hey, ASU recruited me heavily. Wildcats didn't.
There you go. Makes your decision easy.
Sometimes you can only go where you're wanted.
Yeah.
Malcolm Moore had an RBI single in the 8th inning last night. And a single in the 1st inning this afternoon. And he's looking at an 0-1 count here in a moment. It's incredible how dormant Stanford's bats have largely gone.
Yeah.
Intriguing switch here is Kevin Karstetter, who's now at third, has now gone to between first and second. So the infielder for Arizona State, who's closest to the third base line, is the shortstop, Steven Andina, who's in a conventional position, but they've moved Karstetter over to between first and second, along with Ethan Mendoza, the second baseman.
Yeah, great time for a little dribbler down the third base line.
And we've seen a couple of teams pull this particular shift on against Moore, USC most notably. There's a swing and a miss there, count 1 and 2. Most teams put on some kind of shift whenever Moore comes to the plate. But this is only the second team that I've seen put this kind of specific shift on Moore. 1 and 2. Fouled off, left side. And the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And even more intriguing, that's the third baseman that's doing the shifting. The 1-2. Fires a fastball, 2 and 2. Arizona over Utah 8-4. That's a final. USC leading Washington State 9-4 after 8. Bottom of the 11th in Berkeley. Cal and San Jose State tied at 3. 2 and 2. Lasered foul off the screen. Good thing that screen was there. Count stays at 2 and 2. A couple games beginning at the top of the hour. UCLA against Oregon State in Corvallis and Oregon-Washington in Seattle.
Look, and we were talking about it with Cal. You got to sweep that series. If you're on the bubble like they are, can ill afford to lose one to San Jose State, who's another decent in Mountain West play at 14 and 13, but they're 19 and 29 overall.
Jonah Giblin waiting for Moore to step in the box. He does. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled back. The saga continues.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what a battle looks like.
McDonald at first with a single. Giblin ready. Foul tip into the glove. Strike 3. Cardinal leave one on. We go to the top of the 9th inning with Arizona State ahead 10-1. Top of the 9th inning about to unfold. Arizona State with a 10-1 lead over the Cardinal. The big blows struck in the first inning for Arizona State, thanks to a 3-run home run by Nick McClain before a batter was even retired, and by Kien Vu, who hit a 3-run home run in the top of the 8th inning, part of a 5-run frame. Ethan Mendoza stepping up to the plate. Mendoza singled in the first and walked in the 5th with Jaden Bruno on the mound. Bruno got to strike him out, throw him out, and then induced a ground out to Brandon Compton to end of the 8th inning. First pitch from Bruno. Fastball low and away for ball one. Well, I won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is the home finale for Stanford baseball. Kevin will be taking you through that one solo, as that one is cracked right to Becerra, who's up with it quickly and throws over to first in time for the out. One gone. So I will not be here tomorrow, so this is my final assignment of the Stanford sports season for Stanford live streams and overall this year. It's been an absolute blast. This is my first year as the radio play-by-play voice of Stanford football and men's basketball. And it's been an absolute blast. Hopefully it's the first year of many as Isaiah Jackson stands in. His first plate appearance of the day. Looks the fastball down low for ball one.
Yes, Stanford fan base lucky to have Troy as the Stanford football, men's basketball play-by-play, true professional. And, congrats on year one in the books, man.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
So you're done with Pac-12 Networks as well this year?
Pac-12 Network is done. Finished that up with the lacrosse tournament last week.
Okay. I've done my last Pac-12 Networks as well.
Jackson hits a high chop to Natai, who tags the bag unassisted, 2 away. But of course, cannot thank enough all the folks working with me, behind the scenes, on the air as well. Kevin, you're one of my faves to work with on the air. Yeah. Ethan Cardoza and his crew is absolutely lights out here with Stanford live stream.
They take care of us.
All the folks who put us on the air, keep us on the air. Much appreciated. Kevin Karstetter, the batter. It's ball one from Bruno. And looking forward to next year. I mean, obviously a lot of things are going to look different, maybe sound a little different too. We're going to be seeing some different opponents coming through, some different logos. As the Pac-12 logos on the court, the Tara Vanderveer court now at Maples Pavilion, those have already been replaced. The floor has been replaced. The ACC logos are already in place there. The Pac-12 logos here at Sunken Diamond, those will probably go sometime this summer. And that plunks Karstetter right on the shoulder.
Yeah, get ready to learn your North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Massachusetts, New York geography.
Yep.
Georgia. What other states are there? Texas. Right there on the Atlantic. California.
Steven Ondina, the batter now. He dropped down a beautiful bunt single in the 8th. And later came around to score.
Pennsylvania.
Popped up. Moore trying to find it. Becerra calls off everyone and makes the catch on the run. Comes down to the bottom of the 9th inning with Arizona State leading 10-1. Stanford's last chance in just a moment.